So you were kind of curious about seeing what's the big deal. So I would like to know from you, your thoughts, the difference between what you knew and what you just saw. Yeah.
Oh man, I loved the additional scenes that gave a lot more characterization to your character, Dr. West. The injection of your own using the Re-Animator serum on yourself, the acceptance of I thought it was wonderful. I thought it was amazing.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else? Yeah.
I like how we kind of need an impact that Dr. Hall could actually control people.
Yeah, Dr. Kill could control people. Yeah. Okay. Yes?
Yeah, and I thought it was kind of a remarkable example of editing. I saw the screening last night as well, and I do prefer the one from last night.
Yes.
So yeah, it was really fascinating to see that.
Great. Yes?
Yeah, I would agree that the theatrical one is tighter. It moves a lot better. This has some really, really interesting backstory and a lot of very good character development.
Yeah, so let me give you a little bit of a backstory on this. We were in, Re-Animator came out, of course. It was, talked about big time, and word of mouth was incredible. And so about a year later, I guess, we were in Italy shooting From Beyond. Stuart, Brian Usna, who owns the rights to Re-Animator, not Empire Pictures, Brian Usna, and Barbara and I. And while we were over there doing another project back in the States, the distributor, unbeknownst, I think, to anybody, because it was a bit of a surprise, decided that, here's the thing. As you know, Re-Animator came out unrated. And so at that time, there were a lot of video stores. VHS was the thing in 1985. But they would not, including Blockbuster, would not put on their shelves anything that was unrated. But they would put out an R-rated. So unbeknownst to us, the distributor went to his in-house editors and said, let's create an R-rated version of Re-Animator so I can make more money. And so that's what they did. They basically picked up all the stuff that was at some point by committee decided not particularly moving the movie forward, not its best foot forward, so let's pick all that stuff up and let's put it back in, and all the stuff that people really wanted to, really are jazzed about, all the unrated, stuff, let's really pull that out. So then what happened was, all of a sudden there was an R-rated version of Re-Animator on the shelves of video stores. And then, okay, maybe he made more money, but it had caused confusion. Because a lot of people who had heard about Re-Animator, they go to the video store, they're not looking at the rating, they're just looking at, oh, there's Re-Animator, great, I'll rent it. And then they look at that and they go, what's the big deal about? This is, I don't get it. And they were right about that, because you take out all the impactful, lurid stuff and it's really just not the same movie. So now you have, though, because of that, you have all of these loose ends that were never meant to be part of the movie, actually out there in the zeitgeist, okay? And then I think about 5 or 6, maybe longer, there was a German company who decided to come out with a 10-box, all versions of Re-Animator, the R-rated version, the unrated version, and you know what we'll do? We're gonna put them together. And it'll be so cool. So, fans being fans, they think that's great. And because the more the merrier, but I don't agree with that. Because it's like saying to, Picasso that, and there was light and it was good. We say to Picasso, we really like this painting, but, there's this other one that's kind of like it, but really different. We're going to put them together. It'd be really good. It'd be better, and it's not better, I don't think. It was not the creative intent at all. People thought long and hard about how to put this movie together and what was vital and what was not, and the thrust of the movie, the drive of the movie. And so it's like all of the parties that had something to say with that did not have any say. And to me, that is a bit of a perversion, okay? That's not what the artistic team, the editor, the original editor, Lee Percy, or Brian Usner, or even Stuart Gordon, that was not really their intent. So for me, I have really mixed feelings about this extended version because, there's a reason that things were taken out. There's a reason they were taken out. You talk about liking me shooting up. Well, I disagree with you. I was really glad they took that out because I thought that scene where we shot it, I'm thinking, Herbert doesn't need this. I don't need to be shot up with the reagent in order for me to be a Herbert West. It disempowers him because he's using a substance to be brilliant. Okay? He's not interested in that. He's not a user. He's a creator of the stuff. And you know what? He's not dead. So why is he? Doesn't make any sense. So there's just all kinds of weird things like that. The only thing that I would probably say, I have a memory. I'm sorry I'm going on and on about this, but I do have a memory of the very first compilation of all the scenes that we shot, and we sat down at Empire Studios. I remember Bruce and Barbara and I, and we watched on a little screen a 3/4 inch tape of a compilation. In other words, before editing, but a beginning to end of basically the script. Nothing cut yet. And it was interminable. I mean, it was just way too long. You can't do that. You've got to make some choices. There's an old saying for writers, you have to be willing to kill your babies. It's a terrible thing to say, but what they mean is you have to be able to look at your material and realize that some of it is not holding up or pushing your narrative. And so you got to let some things go in order to get a real arc. And I love that the original Re-Animator is just fast and furious, and it's just washing over you so quickly. And I think this extended version slows down the pace. There's a lot more scenes. As I said last night, there's a lot, you notice from the credits, this was originally envisioned to be a movie about the two lovers and what they were going through. Hence, their billing. And that's, everybody sort of thought that, but then you get into the editing room and you realize, we can only maybe maybe the longer version is not the better part of this song. Okay, so let's tighten this little thing up. And I think they were right about that. Just in terms of the movie. So, and it's what made the movie the success that it is. And so this after the fact kind of, we just want more. We want more, so stick it back in because it'll make it better is not exactly the most correct thing. That's just my opinion. But you're welcome to yours. Because I'm sure that in this movie, maybe I have some more scenes, but I try to, I don't, were they needed, really? Really, were they needed? I don't think so. I mean, they made a real strong decision about Dr. Hill. That whole hypnotic thing, that kind of felt that they had to really sort of jettison that a little bit, pull back on it, because they kind of felt like maybe that was a little too, I don't know, supernatural and less believable or credible as something. It was strong enough that he was a powerful man. He didn't have to have special powers, and he was perverse, and maybe that's just enough. So I think that was a correct decision as well. Anyway, any other questions? Okay, everybody's paper is due on Monday. No, I'm glad to answer any questions. Yes?
What scene do you think was the most fun for you?
Can you speak up a little bit?
What scene was the most fun for you to film?
What scene was the most fun for me to film? Honestly, just about any scene with Bruce. We got along great, and we both sort of understood kind of what we wanted to do and had to do. We both looked at the script and went, wow, a lot of blood here, and consistently, and so we kind of really both in harmony realized we needed to find moments of maybe not like in your face comic relief, but a sort of dark humor way for the audience to kind of release, you know, on just how hideous, you know, this could be. And I think we were right in doing that, and frankly, we didn't tell anybody. We just kind of did that. Things like when I pick up the head off the floor, that actually happened out of necessity. Pick the head up, put it in, you know, Stuart said, pick the head up and put it in the pan, you know. And I did, and it slid down. So it's just comedy threes. So one doesn't work, try again. Okay, that doesn't work. And thank God, the prop guy had that paper needle there. And I went, So 1, 2, bam, right? So, because I knew that was sick, but pretty fucking fun. You know, just things like that. So we really kind of tried to find that stuff. I remember, I really miss Stuart. I really miss him. He was a good friend of mine, and he did just a phenomenal job with this movie. Every movie he did. He was just a wonderful director, passionate and driven towards his vision. But I remember while Barbara and I and Stuart were shooting Castle Freak, we were having lunch in the castle, and Barbara and I were talking about Re-Animator and how funny it could be, and Stuart said, Re-Animator's not funny. What? It's not funny. It was like, well, au contraire. And because that's the way he approached that movie. I think, in a way, it sort of surprised him that it was found to have some dark humor in it. Because he was attempting and driving towards a very serious movie. And you know what? That's good, because if you go in thinking that something is funny, and you're working for it, you're doomed. So to approach it from a deadly serious point of view, and then the humor comes out of the organic situation, then you're gold. So it was right for him to take that approach, and I think it was also right for us to undermine it a little bit. I mean, we were never trying to be turn it into a yuck ever. You know, early on, before we shot Re-Animator, Stuart set up a field trip for Bruce and I to go to the Los Angeles morgue so that we could see really what a dead body was like. And let me tell you something, it was deeply informative because you think, yeah, but when you take that elevator down and then you walk into a room with cadavers kind of stacked like bunk beds, and I just remember one guy on a gurney with hoses through here, and it, dead is dead. Dead is dead. It's inanimate, there's no life there, and it really drove home to me the miracle of what I was talking about, when we can bring it back. Like, impossible, right? That's an impossible thing. So the wonder and the magic of it was really driven home by that field trip. For both of us, it really informed us. So when I enticed him about that, we both had a real sort of reference point of, that is unbelievable, but we're gonna try. So anyway, I'm talking a lot. You're not asking questions. Yes, sir.
So I'm sorry if you get this question a lot. Have there been any recent talks of a fourth film?
Have there been any talks about another sequel? You know, yeah, no, yes, no. There's always been like something erupting about, hey, there's a possibility. I talked to somebody who's interested in this or that or the other. There's been numerous sort of synopsises of what that would be even, but you know, it just, I guess because of the psychosexual aspects of Re-Animator, it's really hard for a lot of people, business sort of, you know, bean counters and stuff to sort of, to jump in on that. And sometimes we were our own worst enemies. I remember there was, a long time ago, Stuart wanted to do House of Re-Animator. And in House of Re-Animator, the house being the White House, Stuart, get this, the scenario was that the vice president had a horrible heart attack and is on life support. And this is a problem for the nation because, you know, the vice president is actually running the country and not the idiot president. And this was during Bush Cheney. Okay? Yeah. Yeah. And so Stuart really wanted to stick it to those fuckers. And, now it seems so quaint. It really does. It's like, you thought that was bad. So, you know, this was the idea, and my point of view is, okay, sure, but I don't know, Stu, when did Re-Animator become a political tool? When did that happen? But it scared off investors because they're looking at it and going, okay, so you're going to alienate, you know, half the people that might go see this movie? Are we gonna get our money back? So it was kind of mixed because no one would get behind that. And my argument with Stuart was, why don't we do the same thing, but do it like Dr. Strangelove, where it's not like Bush and it's not Cheney, but it is a presidency of, but just switch it up. No, not gonna do that. So, you know, maybe if we had done that, maybe it would have gotten some traction, but it didn't.
One or two more questions?
Yeah, way back there, hand shot up.
Yeah, being sort of similar to performance, I'm wondering if you drew on any inspirations of like people, whether characters or real life or other roles you played.
Did I?
Yeah, in putting together the mannerisms of her quest.
Well, I don't know about mannerisms. I don't really think about mannerisms, but attitude and point of view. Well, every mad scientist I ever saw in every movie with a little bit of a twist on it, but just you know, self-confident, arrogant, self-assured, and just not going to, force of nature, not going to be stopped. Mostly that. Just, you know, I got cast because I was doing the play, and I played a character somewhat like Herbert West, that sort of arrogance, but a lot more vulnerable and kind of broken. And so I just shed all of the vulnerable and broken and just went straight ahead with, you know, get out of my way. So I just kind of went with my gut on that one. You've already asked the question, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Well, yeah. I'll come back to you. Ladies first.
You said that in the production of Re-Animator you loved working with Bruce. How did you feel in production of the third movie since he was
Of the third movie?
Yes.
Like beyond Re-Animator? Well, I was really happy to be back in the role of Herbert West, but that movie had a lot of challenges. You know, there's the movie and the vision of the movie, and then there's the fucking reality of what you have to go through to make the movie. So, if any of you haven't seen it, the third movie, Herbert is in jail, in prison, for all of the things that he did in 1 and 2. But that doesn't stop him. He's still working in there. Okay, so he's in Arkham Penitentiary. Okay, well, that's good. Except the deal to make the movie was that it needed to be shot in Barcelona, Spain. Okay. So all of a sudden, everybody in the penitentiary, including the warden, by the way, had a Spanish accent. Good actors, really good actors, but it kind of, you know, messes with the vibe of he can't possibly be in a Massachusetts prison. That doesn't, you know. But so things were gained. We got to do it, but some credibility was lost because of what we had to contend with. This isn't new, you know, across film. You know, like for instance, John Adams, a wonderful miniseries about the founding fathers of America. shot in Czechoslovakia. I mean, figure that one out, because it's all about where the deal works. And that was the case with Beyond Re-Animator. And then we also had to have but you have to have a writer who is Spanish. And so it's like, okay, so now you have to hire a Spanish writer who gets the credit, but somebody else really actually, wrote the script. It's just, quotas and deal points, and it just undermines creativity. So, any other questions? Yeah, you did.
I was just gonna, no question, just saying thank you for being here. It's great to see you again, and we just want to
Thank you. I just want to say, everybody, keep supporting this lovely little HP Lovecraft Film Festival. They do a marvelous job keeping Lovecraft alive, and you're very lucky to have it. And just keep supporting it. Love you all, and keep it up. All right? Thank you. Thank you so much.